1992, Wofford College received a real large, multi-million-dollar grant from the F.W. Olin Foundation to erect a new classroom building. And they wanted to thank the foundation in a special way, and so Vice President Larry McGee had the idea that they might commission a new piece of music and have it premiered at the dedication ceremony. And that is indeed what they ended up doing. They commissioned my youngest brother, Paul, to write an overture for the occasion, and the Spartanburg High School Symphony premiered the work May 5th, 1992, under the direction of Fred Mayer. When you commission a work, you can give the composer certain parameters to work within. And what they wanted from him was a piece of music between 8 and 13 minutes long. They wanted it to be played outdoors, so they wanted it to sound, they wanted it to sound full in the outdoors, so naturally he used a lot of brass and percussion in it. The tricky part was they wanted the composer to be able to tie Wofford College in. The music should represent Wofford College a certain way. It should also represent the Franklin W. Olin Foundation and the new building that the Olin Foundation just gave to Wofford College. And that's the tricky part. And so what my brother did is he wrote the piece with 3 subjects. The first one we called the Call to Celebration. It's sort of an introduction fanfare. And then there's the Franklin W. Olin Life and Legacy. And then the third theme or subject that he uses is the Wofford College theme. And each of these 3 themes has a musical signature to them. For example, the first theme, the Call to Celebration, is based on 4 notes. And the notes are paired up to give you the date of the celebration. The first pair of notes are the interval of the 5th, and the second pair of notes are the interval of the 5th. So you have the 5th month and the 5th day. And then in the percussion, you have a single note in the timpani, followed by 9 in the snare drum, followed by another 9 in the snare drum, followed by 2 in the timpani. And so you get the year date, 1992, and when you put it in context, it sounds like this. Okay? Now, that gives you the opening of the piece. For F.W. Olin, we do something a little bit different. Just as a rhythmic grouping can represent numbers, or the distance between the pitches can represent numbers, pitches represent letters. And so the musical alphabet is rather short. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's the end of the musical alphabet, but he continues to give each pitch a letter name. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. All right? And so what he does for the main theme, he spells the man's name. He gives us an F, W, O, L, I, and an N. And with those 6 pitches, what he does is he groups them in a rhythmic pattern of short, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, long. It's a galloping rhythm to give it momentum. So, play the tune as we know it, Greg. Okay? Now you put that together with 1992, and you get this. Okay? But he doesn't stop there. That opening theme, May 5th, he throws that in on top of this as a counter melody. Okay? So that's the first half of the piece. In the middle section of the piece, we have what we call the Wofford theme, and we're going to play that. The opening is basically brass, percussion, and woodwind dominated. It represents the F.W. Olin company that was an armament company. And this represents Wofford College. It's really nice string writing, and when he wrote this piece, I told him, I said, we've always had a great viola section, so make sure you give them a good part. So he either gives them the melody or a beautiful counter melody in this theme. And the Wofford theme is string dominated. Now, at important places in this Wofford theme, you hear this little snippet being played. And what that is, the first note is repeated for 1, he goes down 8 notes, he goes up 5 notes, and goes down 4 notes, 1851, the founding of Wofford. And at the end of the piece, end of the section, he spells out the word Wofford in music. And he only does it once, he does it at the very end of the Wofford theme, then we have a reprise of the F.W. Olin theme again. We've enjoyed working on this piece. I think you're going to like it, the F.W. Olin Overture. Oh, by the way, I should tell you, Larry McGehee, when he was working with my brother on this, had one request. He liked the music of John Williams, and he suggested that, if possible, that this music sound like the music of John Williams. So my brother put every single John Williams lick he could think of in it.